What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Marisha LaShay. It's so good to be here before you guys again on another episode of The Breakfast Show with Marisha LaShay. This is season 6. What's up? Clap it up, stand up, give it up. Okay, I'm ecstatic because it is season 6. Okay, I could have quit a long time ago, but you know how that is. I'm not going to do that. That's the easiest thing that you could possibly do. And yeah, first giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. Thank you, Jesus, for another day that you have given me. First, giving a shout out. Secondly, first I gave honor to God. Second, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to my support system. Also to all my listeners and supporters. Thank you guys very much. None of this would be possible without you guys standing tall for me and tuning in to check me out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can never thank you enough. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just checking my notes. I never want to forget anything that I'm supposed to do. So, with that being said, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and tell my story as to how I got started with this podcast. This all started as an idea. This came up in morning meeting. I used to have these morning meetings with my father for us to be able to expand in our level of productivity and come up with new ideas, new programming, just new things that we wanted to do, new goal setting, everything. So my dad gave me two suggestions. The first one was to go ahead and run with the idea of creating the breakfast show with Marisha LaShay, getting in front of an actual audience, whether it was a live audience or just people to hear what I have to say and to share it with them to get their perspective on things. Second suggestion was that I continue this in the months that have 30 days, which will give me an opportunity to have 30 episodes for a full season, which I thought, wow, okay, sounds genius, sounds like a good idea. I ran with the idea and I'm here today. Went through season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5, and now I'm here at season 6. Each season has had the opportunity to have a different theme, and that is why I am here today. Shout out, yes, okay. Moving on. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the actual next part of the show, and that is when we check in on our mental. It's called a mental check in, rated on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst day of your life and 10 being the best day of your life. Can I be below a 1? Yes, you can. Can you be above a 10? Absolutely. Nobody can kind of measure how you are feeling on the way you start your day. So today is, for me, my number. When I woke up this morning, I was grateful. And I'm about a good 8.7. Not a full 10, not a full 1 or anything like that, just an 8.7. Feeling very grateful. Today is my grandfather's birthday and it's also my great grandmother's birthday as well. They share the same birthday. And honey, they act alike. Okay. They met. I don't think they've ever met each other in person. Possibly, maybe. I don't know. I might be a little delusional. But they share the same birthday. In my family, a lot of my relatives kind of share birthdays, and I think that that's a pretty cool thing. Meanwhile, back to my schedule program, kind of divvied off a little bit, but I'm back. So, with that being said, I'm moving on to my next part of the show. If you feel led to share, drop those numbers in the comment section below on any platform that you are on, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Please feel free to share. I want to hear from you and how you are actually feeling today. So, with that being said, I have to go ahead and move on to the next part of the show, and that is going to be to share my goals with you guys. You guys know that I have to share my goals with you. First goal is to expand my listener base. I'm currently at 715 listeners. I would like to make that 1,000 and to reach even more, greater than 1,000. Second goal is to expand to various countries. I'm currently being heard in 12 countries, and I would like to reach 183 more countries. Third goal is to grow my presence on YouTube. I'm currently under 100 subscribers, so I need to kind of get my subscribers up and increase my presence. And you can find me at Marisha LaShay with the at symbol 1020. 4, start my subscription starting with Apple Podcasts. 5, establish a podcast for younger listeners. 6, adding digital products and merchandise. Okay, with the digital products, I would like to drop courses, ebooks, which I have an ebook that is coming on the 30th, webinars, trainings, workshops, all of that, and merchandise. Of course, I want to be a walking billboard for this brand. Meanwhile, this is season 6. Every podcast focuses on something different each time that I drop it. And our focus this time is going to be 26 trending topics in life in an alphabetical order. Today is day 15 of the Breakfast Show with Marisha LaShay. I have 15 more days to go. The letter that we are going to be focusing on today is going to be the letter O. So the question of the day is, what topic is starting with the letter O? So today we're going to talk about organic and sustainable farming, okay? The demand for organic and sustainable food production has been increasing, of course. This topic dives into organic farming practices, sustainable agricultural methods, the benefits of locally sourced food, and the importance of regenerative farming for environmental conservation. Okay. So I have an article to share with you guys. Is organic food really better for the environment? Sustainable living, and this study is based on the College Columbia, where they conducted a study, and yeah. So when you walk into any farmer's market, you're greeted with signs that say certified organic in bold letters. Despite being far more expensive than its non-organic counterparts, organic agriculture has become the most popular type of alternative farming, not only in the United States, but also globally. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, as of 2012, organic farming accounted for 3% of the total sales within the country's food industry. Even in European countries like Finland, Australia, and Germany, governments have been busy implementing plans and policies that aim to de- uh, dedicate 20% of land area to organic farming. In South Asia, Bhutan has ambitious plans of going 100% organic by 2020. Meanwhile, Skimmick, a state in northeastern India, has managed to go 100% organic in 2016. The gradual shift towards organic farming has been mainly because we as consumers have become increasingly concerned about the health impacts of accidentally consuming pesticides and chemical fertilizers. During the 1990s, the USDA first standardized the meaning of the term organic. Basically, farmers do not use any form of synthetic fertilizer, pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides to grow their produce. Organic farming is widely considered to be a far more sustainable alternative when it comes to food production. The lack of pesticides and wider variety of plants enhances biodiversity and results in better soil quality and reduced pollution from fertilizer or pesticide runoff. Conventional farming has been heavily criticized for causing biodiversity loss, soil erosion, and increased water pollution due to the rampant use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. However, despite these glaring cons, scientists are concerned that organic farming has far lower yields and compared to conventional farming, and so requires more land to meet the demand. A polarized debate. Not surprisingly, debate over organic versus conventional farming is heavily polarized in academic circles. Of late, the conversation about organic farming has shifted from its lack of chemicals to its impact on greenhouse gas emissions. In December of 2018, researchers for Chandler's University of Technology published a study in the journal Nature that found that organic peas farmed in Sweden have a bigger climate impact, 50% higher emissions as compared to peas that were grown conventionally in the country. Organic farming has many advantages, but it doesn't solve all the environmental problems associated with producing food. There is a huge downside because of the extra land that is being used to grow organic crops, says Stephen, an associate professor at Chalmers. If we use more land for food, we have less land for carbon sequestration, segregation. The total greenhouse gas impact from organic farming is higher than conventional farming. Soon after the paper was published and widely covered by various news organizations globally, several research critics criticized the study. Andrew Smith, a chief scientist at the Rodale Institute, lashed out in a post saying that it was irresponsible to kind of expose a global phenomenon based on two crops grown in one country over 3 years. Smith also added that more data should have been included and analyzed before making conclusions. Commenting on this, which was Stefan, said, "It is true that we have a small comparison between organic versus conventional farming based on Swedish statistics. This is because Sweden is one of the very few countries that has statistics that include the yields from organic and conventional crops. It would have been better with bigger sample size that it is a valid concern," he added. It is estimated by 2050 that the demand for food is going to increase from 59% to 98% due to the ever increasing global population. A major challenge for the agricultural business is not trying to figure out how to feed a growing population, but also doing so while adapting to climate change and coming up with adequate mitigation measures. Some scientists continue to be concerned that with limited land areas that will be available for farming, it might not be sustainable for industrialized countries to go 100% organic. A recent study published in the journal Nature Communications concludes that the widespread adoption of organic farming practices in England and Wales could lead to increases in greenhouse gas emissions. This is mainly because agricultural yields should be 40% lower. The researchers argued that with fewer crops being grown locally, these two countries would have to import more food supplies. However, if England and Wales did not solely rely on organic farming in both countries, farmers use this alternative form of farming on a smaller scale, it could result in a 20% reduction in carbon emissions. For organic farming to be successful, agribusinesses will have to find the balance between the costs involved and also its carbon footprint while taking into consideration the overall need to meet the high demands for food, said Alexander, a research physical scientist at NASA Godward Godward into Institute, for Space Studies, and an adjunct professor, associate research scientist at Columbia University Center for Climate Systems Research. That's tough because the goal of organic farming in developed countries currently is about meeting the needs of those who can afford the luxury to buy the highest quality food. If the needs of this luxury interfere with the need to feed the entire population, then you have the potential for conflicts. Mm. The blurry line between the good and the bad. Okay. So, making matters more complicated, some experts worry that the term organic food is not always properly regulated. As more large corporations get involved in organic markets, researchers claim that this shift to the mainstream has led to the weakening of ecologically beneficial standards. It may also limit organic farming's ability to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. While researchers and general public remain divided on whether organic farming is more sustainable than conventional farming, Solani McDermott, an assistant professor at the Department of Environmental Sciences at New York University, says that it is very hard to generalize across any farming systems or label conventional or organic farming as good or bad. They have different manifestations depending upon where you go, she said. And an APT example would be the case of a farm involved in the production of organic berries in Central Valley, California, where they are not using additional land area or chemical inputs like in conventional farming. They are using other really strong inputs like sulfur, explained McDermott. This can be harmful to farm workers as they need to wear proper suits and protective gear, even though it is not chemically synthetic. Despite that, it is just powerful in some cases. McDermott is also concerned that some agribusinesses can farm uniformly without any biodiversity and still call themselves organic. Whereas developing or emerging economies, for example, in India, farmers tend to follow a more farm or traditional definition of organic farming. In India, organic farms grow lots of different crops at the same time. They grow plants that can actually keep pests away and don't use powerful inputs like sulfur. Instead, the farmers use plants and biodiversity to help regulate their cropping systems, said McDermott. Indian farmers who grow organic crops also make their fertilizers by filling a field with looms that they grow in rotations. Once the looms have fully grown, the farmers manually plow them into the ground. Then that results in larger quantities of nitrogen being pumped into the soil as opposed to only using manure or even worse, synthetic fertilizers. McDermott said that in some areas of the developing world, organic farming can actually boost yields over conventional farming because it doesn't rely on so much water and chemical inputs. These practices also build soil fertility and lead to less pollution. Experts maintain that in a heated debate over organic versus conventional farming, there needs to be more information available for consumers when it comes to labeling, even understanding the certification processes in industrialized countries like the US. So, you guys, I'm going to stop there with this article because we have learned what organic farming is and how it can actually be sustainable for the environment. Um, but there's still a lot of talk and debate going on about how to actually make this happen and really get a grasp and understand it without, being exposed to our food being exposed to different pesticides and different chemicals, which can be harsh on us as we are ingesting these different things. So, you guys, with that being said, this is the close of the show. Thank you guys for allowing me to educate you guys and share what I learned on organic farming in other countries as well as here in the US. So, thank you guys. You guys have an awesome day. Enjoy your Thursday. And with that being said, you guys, I will see y'all same time, same place. Thank you. Bye.